Hello, and what is going on, everybody? It is Master of the TDS, and I am joined by my lovely wife,
WritingRaven.
And we're back for another episode of Psycho-Synopsis.
Indeed.
The segment where we summarize all the Psycho for you. Just a scattering of topics throughout the week, all summarized into a neat little package for you to enjoy and consume at your leisure.
You're welcome.
Last week we did not do a video, and the simple reason was that my voice was gone.
And also there was no news that week.
Well, it was more than my voice was gone than anything else.
I know. But it was convenient that there was no news that week.
But if you guys want to keep updated on that kind of stuff, check the community tab. We will usually post there if something comes up.
Mm-hmm.
But with that said, we are back. So
let us bring in our main client, Elon Musk.
Elon Musk's latest tweak to Twitter, the former name of what he now calls X, users will no longer be able to block other accounts as Musk claims the feature, quote, makes no sense, end quote.
What makes no sense is getting rid of blocking.
Most people are against this change.
You think?
There are some people who are claiming, well, mute is fine and whatever. It is not.
No, sometimes it's not enough because they can still, because even if you can't see the people you have muted, they can still see you and comment and like, etc., etc.
Exactly. And that's something that we want to prevent. Now, if you do not understand this fact, chances are you're an account that's much smaller. I am nearing 10,000 followers on Twitter, and trust me, there are people who have way more than me who have also come out against this, and they have more reason to than I do.
Indeed.
When you get bigger on Twitter, you have people come after you all the time. Yes, you can mute them. Fine. But as my wife said, they can still comment on your posts all the time. It doesn't stop them.
And everyone else can see them too.
Exactly. So, obviously we don't have as many as other bigger accounts, but we do have our own roster of detractors who get a little annoying. And eventually, some of them need to be blocked for their own good so that they go off of Twitter and instead go seek therapy.
They really need therapy. Most people on Twitter need therapy.
That's true. But regardless, so as you can see, Elon posted that block is going to be deleted as a feature except for DMs. Now, he got fact-checked.
And according to the fact check, Elon Musk cannot do this. The feature to block someone on the site is required as a social media app to be allowed on the App Store and the Google Play Store.
Now, this note has changed multiple times. Even Elon has mentioned that it was taken off, which it wasn't. Now, that doesn't mean he can't find a way to get around this rule.
True.
Linda Yaccarino, the current CEO of Twitter, has come out and said basically that they're not getting rid of the block, they're going to be changing it.
Making something better.
I mean, what do you want me to say? There is a reason for blocking, and there is a reason for muting. That's why they exist. The reason you don't like blocking as a thing is not because you think muting's better, Elon. It's because you don't like that people are blocking advertisers.
Indeed. Everyone knows it.
Now, I am now monetized on Twitter, which means that I get paid money for posting things on Twitter.
It is quite cool.
And I've already been paid. And I can tell you right here and now, it's over $100. Yeah, that's right. You could argue, well then why is this block a big problem? Have everybody be unblocked and get even more money. As we said, there are reasons because people who harass, stalk, and whatever else they do don't deserve to see content. They don't deserve to be interacted with, and quite frankly, we don't have time to deal with them. They're not worth it.
They're really not. Like we said, they need therapy and lives.
We aren't afraid of them. Honestly, at this point, I don't really even care. But I don't want to have to deal with them.
Because of the fact they're incredibly annoying.
Yeah, exactly. That's literally the only reason. They're really annoying. They have their own little Discord server, whatever else. I don't care. Regardless, the point is, I don't think Elon's going to be able to get away with this change. If he creates something better that works similar to block, fine. But this may be the nail in the coffin for Twitter, or X if you want to call it that, because a lot of people are saying that they are going to leave if it is removed, and for the same reasons that we have stated.
Indeed.
Not a great idea. We'll have to wait and see how this plays out. Some people are saying it's a nothing burger. It's not a nothing burger. You people obviously are not big enough to know what it's like to be someone who gets that much attention. So until you are, you will not understand. Muting does not fix the problem, as we discussed.
Indeed. Let's move on. And next up, on a completely different tangent, we have Slime Rancher.
Slime Rancher, the popular sandbox game from Monomi Park, is being adapted into a feature film as a joint venture with Story Kitchen.
And Master is really looking forward to this.
The reason I am, you can see Nick Popovich is the person who's in charge, and he's excited, and he confirmed it. The reason I'm excited for this is because many people don't know, but Slime Rancher was actually the first computer video game that I played. Yes, I played Flash games or whatever when I was younger or whatever. I'm sure a lot of people have.
But in terms of PC gaming, Slime Rancher was Master's first.
Exactly. It was my first game, so it will always hold a special place in my heart.
It's also such an adorable game. Have you guys seen those slimes? They're so cute.
It is adorable, but also it's actually fun. You might look at this and think this looks childish or whatever. It's actually got a decent story. It's actually got some interesting, cool mechanics. And it's actually fun to play.
Mm-hmm. And it's fun to watch you play.
And it's actually quite chill. So if you want a game where you can kind of relax and not have to worry but still challenges you, that's the game for you. The story is interesting but also a bit strange in certain ways. However, I'm interested to see what they do with this because they also have a sequel out, which I also have. It's not fully done yet. It's in early access. But I'm looking forward to the idea of a movie on this if they do it well. I think now is going to be the time of video game adaptation movies now.
Everyone says that video game movies don't do well. Personally, I liked the Assassin's Creed movie that we got.
A lot of people are saying that the time of the superhero is over, and that now people are going to focus on video game adaptations because, we can be honest, a lot of the more recent movies that were video game adaptations actually did okay.
True, Sonic, Sonic 2, and Mario. All of which were decent.
Exactly. You could even argue that there was I believe, was it a Dungeons and Dragons movie that they did recently that was also did pretty good?
Apparently people were saying that it was going to be terrible, but it ended up doing okay.
Now, we'll have to wait and see. But I think it's a cool trend, and if we get movies that are based off of things like this that are actually going to be interesting and hopefully done well, that would be great.
Indeed. It'll also be really great to see how they come up with the slimes. And if it's a completely animated movie, that is the way they should go with it, not into live action. It needs to be a 3D animated movie. Because, honestly, the slimes in live action would not be nearly as adorable.
I agree. If you guys haven't already, I would recommend checking out the game. It is a lot of fun, and as I said, it's chill. It might look childish, but it is very not. It is actually quite good.
Indeed. And thus we move on. And speaking of animation, next up we have ScoobyDoo.
Egan Tillman used AI voices to recreate the cast of the 1969 Scooby-Doo Where Are You in an animated short, and Grey Delisle, the voice of Daphne, threatened to blacklist them.
Now, to be fair, it was a really good short. It was adorable, very nostalgic, really felt like Scooby-Doo, was a great crossover with Five Nights at Freddy's, and was not entirely voiced by AI.
Exactly. A lot of it was not voiced by AI, and some of it that was, Grey Delisle was getting upset about it, but to be fair, first off, the Daphne that was in there was not based off of her voice at all. So she has no reason to be upset about that.
True, it was the original voice.
Now, AI is a tricky subject, especially right now with the strikes and everything. You can understand why people might have an adverse reaction to it. However, I think that Egan Tillman did an amazing job. He deserves credit for that. He deserves praise for what he's done. And if you didn't like something about it, all you had to do was approach it in the right way. Going like that, getting that upset, you gave him, not only did you give him more attention, but you also made more people less likely to view your future work.
Indeed. Not a very good look.
The short was great. It was done very well. He apparently did it all in Blender, which is amazing.
Yeah, because isn't Blender one of those older sites that nobody uses anymore? Wasn't that the one that you used for your original intro way back when?
It's still used, but yeah, I did use it for my original intro. And again, it was a great thing, but it took a lot of work to even get that intro. And so the fact that he was able to do this and make it look like it was almost stop motion is great.
Mm-hmm.
I think that actors and actresses, especially voice actors and whatever, are terrified of AI because they're scared of being replaced. And yes, that's a valid concern.
Indeed. But as I have said before, AI will never replace true talent.
It won't.
And there are a lot of voice actors out there who do indeed have that true talent.
And attacking people who make things that would actually benefit you rather than harm you is not how you do it. If you didn't want him to do it with AI, you approach him in a nice way. You don't basically say, I'm sharing it with every voice actor I know. You sound stuck up and snobby, and quite frankly, you deserve all the backlash that you've been getting.
Indeed. Because this guy really does deserve an award for this animation.
He deserves credit for it, and you don't deserve to behave like a stuck-up snob because someone did something you don't like. You can approach them in a nice way, and you could have messaged them privately or said, hey, this is great, but let's not use AI. I'll do the voice for you, whatever. It would have been a great opportunity for you to market yourself when you couldn't do so, but you can't do that because that would mean having to sink down to the level of peasants, right?
Well, yeah.
Guess what? The peasants are the one who pay your salaries.
Indeed.
Why are you guys on strike right now? Could it be that you're making mediocre, terrible content that nobody likes and therefore you're not making money off of it?
Maybe they're just bored.
We are the customers. We pay to watch things and consume things that we like. When you behave like this, anybody who searches you up or looks into you are not going to be interested in watching anything you're in simply because you seem like a terrible person.
Indeed. Shall we move on? And speaking of terrible people, next up we have Snow White.
The son of the original Snow White film's director accuses Disney studio bosses of insulting the 1937 classic and destroying his father's creation.
Thank you!
Now keep in mind, this guy's like 90-something at this point. He doesn't like any of the stuff that's been coming out of the live-action stuff. He doesn't have a problem with them taking it and reimagining it, but the thing is, the problem with all the live actions have been they do not honor the original source material.
That's true of a lot of remakes, not just the Disney ones.
And Rachel Ziegler ain't doing herself any favors with keeping opening her mouth. Now, I know that these are
older videos, but she is still coming off as an insufferable wench.
Exactly. And nobody wants to see that in theaters. And again, keep in mind, the last live-action film that they made based off of an animated film, The Little Mermaid with Halle Bailey, again, despite what every screaming weirdo on Twitter says, did not break even. It didn't even make any money. It was a huge flop.
Literally, the only people who are going to go see this movie are the people who are going to be reviewing it on their YouTube channels, which still technically gives Disney money, but it also saves everyone else the trouble of giving Disney money.
True, but regardless, we're not going to go see it. This, you've cast someone unlikable in, and pretty much everybody is united on the front of that they don't like Rachel Ziegler, and it's not the same as when it came to Halle Bailey. Halle Bailey had a dedicated, group of people who liked her.
Mm-hmm.
So she had some following and some support, and even then couldn't make break even.
Whereas Rachel Ziegler does not have that much to her name, is not that pretty, and yet has been cast in a role that she is not suited for because she does not have Snow White skin. Yes, I said it. And she's literally insufferable. The word I used was wench, but the word I want to use would get us demonetized.
Probably not demonetized, but regardless, we try to keep it a little bit cleaner here. But she's not endearing herself to the audiences, and she didn't even have that big of a following to begin with, and whatever following she did have is probably gone now.
You think?
Disney should just can this movie or put it directly to Disney+.
Indeed. I imagine that if people other than reviewers do go see this movie, it will only be for Gal Gadot.
Yeah, actually I agree.
Who is one of the most beautiful women on the planet.
But it's not about the fairest of them all anymore, it's about the fairest ruler.
They already did that with Snow White and the Huntsman, and look how well that turned out. They cast Kristen Stewart as Snow White, for crying out loud, and she's not even pretty.
And nobody talks about the movie. This will be the same. It'll be a footnote in history, a bad one.
Indeed. Shall we move on? And speaking of footnotes in history, next up we have Ahsoka.
Hayden Christensen's Anakin/Darth Vader will reportedly appear in the upcoming Ahsoka series alongside Rosario Dawson.
Why? Oh, right. Milking the nostalgia with member berries.
I remember.
Uh-huh.
Are we supposed to be moved by this?
No. I still don't like that her head tails are too short.
Yes, you're not alone with that. But also, you like Ahsoka? Whatever, fine. I think she's overplayed. I think she's been done to death.
Indeed.
And she doesn't need to be here, and it ruins the continuity of Star Wars. The fact that they're bringing Hayden Christensen into it, I like Hayden. I'm glad he's getting more work. But not surprising, and won't make me watch. Apathetic to Star Wars. A lot of people are. If this show does not do really well, it will be very telling. That's all I have to say.
Indeed. Ahsoka is my favorite character. But honestly, she's supposed to die in Order 66. They didn't kill her in Order 66. Instead, she died fighting Darth Vader, which I thought was the perfect send-off for the character. She was not supposed to come back from the dead.
Exactly. I think that the character is a good character, wasn't bad, and it should have been ended there. It had a definite end point. And then you keep bringing it back, and now it's going to be... Again, this might be very good. Who knows if it's going to be good? People might watch it. That's great. But I have no interest. And the fact that they're using Hayden Christensen to market it...
Very telling.
Exactly. Very telling about how desperate Disney is right now for a hit.
Indeed. They're not going to get one anymore.
They might. This actually might do well. This is their best chance. If they can't make this beloved character do well in her own show, it's not going to go well for them.
It's not their best chance, darling. It's their last chance.
We keep saying that, but for all we know, they'll reboot some other character or whatever. That's what they do.
True.
So it's their best chance at this point.
And Kathleen Kennedy is still not fired.
And nobody was shocked.
Indeed.
Despite her being rumored to be fired multiple times, she still is around. Nobody's shocked at this point. I'll believe it when it happens.
Indeed. Someone find the skeletons so they can reveal the truth. I'll be happy to bring the shovel.
Behave.
Aww. Okay, well, let's move on. And next up, we have an X-Man.
Meet Carmen Maria Cruz, a shape-shifting mutant who graduated from the Children of the Atom to the Dark X-Men just in time for the fall of X, codenamed Gimmick.
She's a shapeshifter named Gimmick, and she's a gimmick of a character.
Exactly. A gimmick character named Gimmick? Wow.
How original!
Now, I actually didn't recognize this character. I actually tried to read Children of the Atom. Shocking. I actually read the comics. What?
And I don't think you got past page 5.
I did try to read it. It was boring. Nothing was happening. Comics need a fine balance of dialogue and action, and this one didn't have it. This character on the cover is the same character here. And I thought it was funny because everybody was calling this character a self-insert, and also that she was like an imitation Gambit.
Is that why they called her Gimmick? Because it sounds like Gambit?
I don't know. It's weird. I think this character's a gimmick character, obviously. They're doing this whole thing with the fall of X, and Tony's going to be married to Emma Frost, but he's going to be Mr. Emma Frost, and whatever. Marvel Comics is dead.
You think?
It's been dead for a while. Everybody knows it. And seeing a character called Gimmick means that even the people writing it know it.
Reminds me of Geode on The Vessel.
Exactly. What are we going to get next? A mutant whose codename is Character.
Probably. For crying out loud, we got one who poops ice cream.
Prophet. That's what they need, a mutant named Prophet, because they'll never make it on their own.
But
Maybe even with the mutant power, I don't think they're going to make you a prophet. I don't think this comic's going to make you a prophet, but whatever. You do you. Continue to Disney Marvel all over the place. Let's see how that works out for you.
Also, what is she shape-shifting into here? The bugs?
I don't care. I didn't care enough. I found out it was this character, I laughed, and that was about all the research I did. Because guess what? It's not an interesting character. It's just not. Sorry. It's a Vidayala insert, and it's not interesting.
No. But if it is bugs that she's transforming into, that would be hilarious. Because that really attests to the state of comic books these days.
If she turns into bugs, can I squash them?
Sure, I'll help with my shovel.
Why with a shovel?
Why not with a shovel? I don't want to get bug guts on my boots.
What if I get you a special pair of boots?
A special pair of bug stomping boots that cost $300? Golf boots are never cheap!
Yeah. We'll see about the $300 boots, but this is one bug that I won't want to squash. I just want to forget it exists.
And the boots are not necessarily $300. That's more of a meme.
Moving on.
And lastly, we have Netflix.
Netflix has copyright claimed content from multiple YouTubers who covered the Johnny Depp Amber Heard trial and used their content in a documentary without consent of the original owners.
Are we really surprised that they did that, though?
No. But they are copyright claiming the original things that they took from without permission as theirs because they now have a documentary that has it. This includes that Star Wars girl, that Umbrella guy, Andy Signore, other people, Rekieta Law, I believe even. All these people have things that, because they covered the trial, people were raging against them for it, whatever. They did it anyways, and we appreciated it. And now Netflix is like, oh, don't mind if we do. We're just going to scoop up all that content and make a documentary on it. We're not going to pay any of them. And then we're going to copyright claim the original content so we can take that money too.
So dumb.
There's not a single article on this. I looked everywhere. There's not a single article.
Of course not. It's Netflix. No one wants to go up against Netflix. It's like going up against Disney. No one wants to do it.
Guess what? I decided even if there wasn't an article, we're going to talk about it anyways because it's ridiculous. Those YouTubers, I've spoken with that Umbrella guy before. I've had some interactions with Star Wars Girl. I know who Rekieta Law is and other people. Regardless, they're nice people. They spent their time and effort making this content and streaming it and commentating over it. They do not deserve to have their content taken from them. And if you're going to take it from them without permission, you better not copyright the original material. That's ridiculous.
Unfortunately, they have.
Andy Signore got struck again for covering this story.
For covering the Netflix story?
For covering this story, yes. He used some of their footage and said, hey, look at this. You're taking my content. And Netflix copyright struck him for that too.
What the hell?
Exactly. This is not okay. It's not going to end well for you guys. You should just stop. Whether it was automated or not, it doesn't matter. It's a very bad look for Netflix, and Netflix can't afford that right now. Sorry. Yes, they may have saved themselves from extinction with their non-sharing password thing. We'll have to see how Disney Plus does with that. That'll be fun. But really bad look. If I was Netflix, I would be reaching out to them all right now, and I would be trying to resolve this in the best way possible, because this only looks bad. And let's be honest, these people all have a big following. All of these people have people who I'm assuming are subscribed to Netflix or have a whatever, and you just made them not interested anymore, if they even were to begin with.
Indeed. There's really nothing more to say on that.
Nope. It's ridiculous, it's stupid, and Netflix, shame on you.
Indeed. Moving on. And with that being our last client of the day, it is time for us to reveal the diagnosis of the week.
And we have an interesting diagnosis for you today.
Do tell.
The diagnosis for this week is onerophenia.
Please explain.
Onerophenia describes a state where a person becomes confused distinction between reality and dreams. Basically, they're living in a dream state. They get very confused, they have hallucinations, confusion, all this kind of stuff, but it doesn't actually... It's not schizophrenia, it may seem like it though. Why is this important? Because this is literally Hollywood right now. And all these big people, like Elon Musk, and like all these other people, they're living in a dream where they believe they have more power than they actually do. The fans, the people who pay for stuff, the consumers, whatever you want to call them, are the money. They always have been, whether it comes to Twitter or otherwise. All of these people, without them, you'd have nothing. And you live in a dream where you believe you have all this power, and in reality, you don't. Because all it takes is people to stop and wake up and leave, and you're left with nothing. So, it's starting to happen, it's been happening, And these people might not wake up in Hollywood or with Twitter or whatever. We'll have to wait and see. But maybe it's time for you to stop dreaming and come back to the real world where everybody lives. Because right now, you're looking like you're sleepwalking towards the end of a bridge. And at a certain point, no one's going to want to stop you from falling off of it. And that's why I think this is a great diagnosis for this week.
I completely agree.
And now we move on to the remedy of the week.
And this week we will be sending you to that umbrella guy. Because he's a good guy. Master looks up to him as he is a fellow therapist with a cool hat.
Exactly. And he's under attack right now from Netflix, as we just talked about. But also, I want to give him the shout out here because he's way bigger than us. There's absolutely no way that this is going to make anything like an influx of subscribers to him. We're much smaller. Mm-hmm. We haven't even hit 3,000 yet.
We're getting there.
That umbrella guy has been there for us so many times. I can't even tell you. I'm not even going to go into details about it because it's not something that I want to bring up publicly. But he's been there for us so many times. He's never been someone who's kind of gotten big and forgotten the people who've gotten him there. Great guy. Makes some great content. And I just wanted to thank him for everything he's done for us.
Indeed. And his accent makes his videos all the more appealing.
Hey there.
To all you fine folks on this fine day, by the way.
I hope you're going to subscribe. But yeah, maybe he'll get some more subscribers out of this. Maybe not. Regardless, thanks, That Umbrella Guy. Thank you for everything you've done for us. We really appreciate it. And you make some great content. So keep it up.
Indeed. So grab your hats, head on over there, and let him know that Gothic Therapy referred you.
Indeed. But that is all we have for this week. Let us know what you think in the comments below, and also make sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe with notifications on so you do not miss your weekly therapy session.
Or you will be charged. But remember, when you do subscribe, your first session is free, so smash those buttons like they're bad kitties. And do consider joining us at the Dusk, Midnight, or Dawn level. We would appreciate it quite a lot. You can also find links to all of our socials in the description below, as well as links to our merch store and our Discord server known as The Clinic. Be sure to check them out. And if you don't want to stick with us here on YouTube, you can also find us on Rumble and Odyssey.
If you have not followed us on Twitter, or X, whatever you want to call it, now is the time, because if Elon Musk doesn't come up with something better than Block that actually works, Raven and I will be going private.
For the foreseeable future, if the block does get removed.
Exactly. So if you want to see our posts or interact with us or whatever, follow us there, because if you don't follow us now, you can still try to follow us later, but you won't see our posts.
Indeed.
But yeah, that's all we have for this weekend, and we'll see you guys in the next one.
Gothic Therapy, out.